If you've ever looked up vegan meal planning advice and felt more overwhelmed after than before, this video is for you. Because there's no shortage of advice out there. Build your meals around your protein, meal prep on Sundays, plan your week in advance. You try it, it kind of works for a bit, and then it doesn't. And you're back to standing in front of the fridge at 5:30 p.m., opening it, closing it, and wondering whether cereal counts as dinner. I've been there. And as someone who loves working with systems, I'm a biochemist, so breaking things down into their parts, it's basically my love language. At some point, I stopped blaming myself and started looking at the advice itself. Because I think a lot of it was built for a different kitchen. So today I want to walk through the main approaches that are out there. What each one gets right, where they fall short, for plant-based eating specifically, and what I think works better. Before we get into the methods, I want to clear something up, because I think this is where a lot of people start with the wrong idea. Most people think the point of meal planning is to eat better. And yes, eating more variety, more whole foods, less processed stuff, less takeout, those are real benefits. But honestly, that's the side effect, not the goal. Think about how much of your day revolves around food. You have to decide what to eat, when to eat, what to buy, when to shop, what you already have, what's about to go off, whether there's enough for everyone, whether it fits the budget, whether it takes too long on a Tuesday. Researchers estimate that we make over 200 food-related decisions every day, most of them unconsciously. And by the end of the day, when you've already made hundreds of other decisions at work, with your family, with your phone, asking your brain to also invent a balanced, satisfying plant-based meal from scratch, that's a big ask. This is called decision fatigue, and it's real. And here's what it actually costs you. Not just stress, money. Because when you don't have a plan and you're tired, you order takeaway. Again. And that adds up fast. In the US, the average household spends well over $1,000 a year on takeout. That could have been a meal at home. Not because people can't cook, but because at 5:30 p.m. the mental effort of deciding what to cook feels bigger than the effort of just ordering something. So when I talk about meal planning, I'm not talking about eating perfectly. I'm talking about reducing the number of decisions your tired brain has to make at the end of the day. That's it. The side effects, eating better, saving money, wasting less food, fewer last-minute takeaway orders, those come naturally when you have a structure. But the actual goal is relief, not perfection. Keep that in mind as we go through these methods. The question isn't just, does this help me eat well? It's, does it actually reduce my mental load? Method 1, recipe-based planning. That's the most common starting point. You find recipes you like, make a list of what you need, go to the store and cook them. And it works until it doesn't. I went into this in detail in my last video, so I'll keep it short here. Recipes are instructions built around specific ingredients. Real life, a sold-out shelf, produce that's seen better days, a budget that doesn't stretch this week, doesn't always cooperate. Recipe-based planning is a great way to learn new dishes. As a long-term system, however, it makes you permanently dependent on having exactly the right ingredients at exactly the right time. People look for something more structured. Method 2, protein-first planning. The next thing most people find is build your meals around your protein. And I want to be fair here. This advice makes a lot of sense in a meat-based kitchen. Here's why. When you center a meal around chicken, the chicken does a lot of work for you before you've made a single decision. It has a strong flavor identity. It suggests a cooking method. It hints at which spices work, which sides fit, which sauces complement it. Chicken with lemon and herbs. Your brain already knows what that looks like. Rice or potatoes, roasted vegetables, something simple and bright. The protein acts as what I'd call a decision anchor. It narrows down your options automatically. Now apply that to a plant-based kitchen. Build your meal around your protein. Okay, protein is lentils. Now what? Lentils can be Indian or French or Moroccan or a soup, a salad, a burger, a filling, a pasta sauce. You see the problem. Plant-based proteins are incredibly versatile, and that's one of their real strengths. But it also means they don't anchor decisions in the same way. Tofu doesn't suggest a flavor direction. Beans don't tell you what to cook next. They absorb the flavor of whatever surrounds them, which means the question, what surrounds them, is still entirely open. The protein-first approach doesn't reduce your decisions. It just moves the question one step earlier. And this, am I getting enough protein, is not the actual challenge with vegan meal planning. It's not a nutrition problem, it's a decision problem. A lot of vegan content out there focuses heavily on protein quantity, and nutrition matters, of course. But for most people, just trying to get a decent dinner on the table without losing their minds, the bottleneck isn't the number of grams, it's the number of decisions. Method 3, traditional meal prep. Now let's talk about the Sunday meal prep, because I want to give this one a fair look. There are people who have built really good systems around this, and it works well for them. If you're one of those people, great, honestly, keep going. The idea is simple. You dedicate a chunk of time, usually Sunday, to preparing food for the week. You batch cook, you portion things out, and future you has a much easier week. And when it's done well, it can be impressive. Components prepped, bases cooked, things ready to assemble quickly. But there are a few places where this approach breaks down, and I want to be specific about what they are. The first is the identical container problem. If meal prep means 5 of the same thing in 5 containers, you might be fine on Monday. By Wednesday, the enthusiasm is gone. By Friday, you'd rather skip dinner. Food fatigue is real. Eating the same meal 4 days in a row is not discipline. It's a fast track to giving up entirely. The second is pre-chopping. A lot of meal prep guides tell you to chop all your vegetables for the week on Sunday and store them in containers. And I understand the appeal, less work on weeknights. But here's the thing, once you cut a vegetable, it starts losing water, texture, and this is the part that matters, vitamins. Vitamin C in particular breaks down quickly once the cell walls are damaged. So those pre-chopped vegetables you prepped on Sunday, by Thursday they've lost a meaningful amount of their nutritional value. You're eating older produce with more work already done to it. For some vegetables and some usage, it's a reasonable trade-off, but it's worth knowing. The third issue is simply time. A full prep day is a full day. That's a significant ask every single week. And if the system only works when you have 4 spare hours and a lot of energy, it's not really a system. It's a good week. Method 4, meal rotation. This one doesn't get talked about enough, and I want to frame it specifically as a tool for overwhelm, because that's where it really shines. The idea you have a set of meals, say 10 to 15, that you know well and enjoy, and you rotate them on a repeating cycle. Week 1, you cook these dinners. Week 2, the same or a variation. Week 3, you swap 1 or 2 out. What makes this work is that the decision is already made. You're not choosing dinner every night. You're choosing what's next. Your brain goes from, what should I cook? To, it's Tuesday, so it's lentil soup. That's a completely different cognitive load. I think this is especially useful when life is genuinely hard. A stressful month at work, a new baby, moving house. These are the times when the mental overhead of planning meals is the last thing you need. Setting up a simple rotation for 4 weeks, just until the stress drops, removes that overhead entirely. You're not committed to it forever. You're just giving your brain a break for a month. And here's something worth knowing about variety. A rotation of 12 different meals, cycling every 2 weeks, is actually a lot of variety. Most households cook about 8 to 10 dinners on repeat anyway. Making that intentional instead of accidental is not a limitation, it's a structure. The creativity still lives inside each slot. Your lentil soup this week doesn't have to be identical to last week's. The base is the same. The details shift with what you have. Where rotation can fall short, if the list is too short or set up without thinking about variety in flavor, texture, and effort level, it starts to feel repetitive before it should. The setup matters, but it only needs to happen once. Method 5, theme days or motto days. A variation on rotation, and one that really works well for some households, is assigning a theme to each day of the week. And here's the key thing. The theme isn't a protein, it's a base, a starch. Monday is pasta, Tuesday potatoes, Wednesday is rice, Thursday soup, Friday is tacos or wraps, something you build at the table. Saturday is comfort food, Sunday is something relaxed or whatever needs using up. This might sound like a small difference, but it's actually the important one. Remember how protein-first planning falls short for vegans because lentils and tofu don't narrow down your decisions? The starch does. Rice immediately tells you something. You're thinking Asian or Mediterranean or bowl style. Your flavor territory narrows automatically. Pasta tells you even more. Tonight is Italianish, creamy or tomato or olive oil and herbs. The decision space shrinks before you've thought about it. This is why structuring around the base actually works better for plant-based cooking than structuring around the protein. The starch has flavor identity. It suggests a direction. And from there, the protein, beans, tofu, lentils, chickpeas, just slots in alongside it. And it handles variety automatically too. 7 different bases across the week means 7 different flavor profiles, 7 different textures. You get diversity without planning for it. Where theme days can fall short, coming up with 7 themes that actually work for your real life, your schedule, your energy levels, and whoever else you're cooking for. That takes some thought up front. And if the themes are too rigid, a week where Tuesday's potato dinner feels like too much effort can leave you stuck. It's possible to make this work really well, but it needs the right setup and themes that are flexible enough to have both a quick version and a more involved version depending on the week. So across all of these methods, there's something that consistently makes things easier. And it's not a method on its own, it's a habit. Instead of prepping complete meals, prep components. Not 5 containers, just a few things that give your week a head start. A sauce or gravy you will use twice. A salad dressing ready to go into the fridge. Maybe a batch of roasted seeds or a snack sorted for the week. This is maybe 30 minutes alongside something you're already cooking. The result isn't dinner is done, it's dinner is already half done, which is often all you need. And the psychological effect of that is bigger than it sounds. Coming home on a Tuesday and knowing something is already prepared That decision is already made. You're finishing something, not starting from scratch. That's a completely different feeling. I keep coming back to this because I think it's the part most people miss. The goal of meal planning is not to eat better. Eating better is the side effect and a welcome one. The goal is to reduce the number of decisions you have to make when your brain is already tired. To save money by wasting less, to stop standing in front of the fridge at the end of the day feeling stuck. Meals are not a small part of our lives, they're central. They involve planning, shopping, budgeting, timing, nutrition, other people's preferences, and they repeat every single day. It's one of the most underestimated decision chains in adult life. A good meal planning system doesn't ask more of you, it asks less. And that's what I've been working on. A structure that reduces those decisions specifically for plant-based eating, without requiring a strong protein anchor or a full prep day. It's almost ready. If you want to be the first to know when it's out and get something useful in the meantime, there's a free checklist on my website that helps you build satisfying vegan meals without the overthinking. Same idea, fewer decisions, more ease. Link is below. This week, pick one method from this video that you haven't tried yet, just one. Give it a week and see how it feels. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.